People may decide that they want to retain their biological self or not. I think they'll probably choose to retain their biological self.
Versus some sort of Ray Kurzweil scenario where they download themselves into a computer?
You will be essentially snapshotted into a computer at any time. If your biological self dies, you could probably just upload into a new unit. Literally.
Pass that whiskey. We're getting crazy over here. This is getting ridiculous.
Down the rabbit hole.
Grab that sucker. Give me some of that. This is too freaky.
Day 19th. Month August. Year 2021. Time 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Location Palo Alto, California. What happened that day will change forever the course of our civilization. The day that Tesla showed the new unit where you will be able to upload yourself. Even though the following day Tesla stock only went up 1%, media didn't seem very impressed, and I struggled more than in my whole life trying to translate the event to my Spanish audience. This for me instead of English sounds like Chinese. The reaction of the expert community was quite different. From computer scientists and AI researchers like Lex Fridman,
Tesla AI Day presented the most amazing real-world AI and engineering effort I have ever seen in my life.
ex-NVIDIA workers and tech analysts such as James Wang, Tesla AI Day is probably the greatest technology presentation since 2007. It's also an absolute masterclass on AI. To hardware engineers,
Today's Tesla AI Day was one of the greatest technology presentations since long time. It was super exciting to watch. So the Dojo chip is truly a monster, a very hot monster.
even AI experts like Dr. Know-It-All reacted doing this.
And by the way, I applied to Tesla again last night because of this presentation. I was like, what the hell?
And of course, James.
I woke up at 2 a.m. and I started thinking about this stuff, and that was just like it. I could not get back to sleep. So like at 6 a.m. I gave up and I just started reviewing the video and taking notes, and that's what I've been doing all day so far. Yeah, it was really exciting. It was really exciting. I'm stunned by the ambition of the things.
And this thing that stunned James Doma was him. Or it. But why? Why is Tesla doing a robot if it's a car company? Because it can, and it should. It can because even though other software companies such as Alphabet are renowned for their AI talent, they are just software companies. So I give you one example. When you search which is the best Tesla channel in the Milky Way, first maybe it's wrong, but once the neural networks improves, you see how well it learned? However, Google search engines, Apple Siri, Amazon Alexa don't have any moving parts. Tesla, with its over 1,600,000 cars with autopilot in the road today, is the biggest big-scale neural network robotic company in the world, aka real-world AI company. And therefore, it can make a humanoid robot because it has the know-how in-house of how to make visual neural networks for moving machines, how to build their inference chips that executes the orders inside the cars, and how also now to construct a supercomputer to train these huge amounts of data with the Dojo project. And it should because... Okay, to understand this, let's better hear Elon.
At a mechanical level, at a physical level, you can run away from it. And most likely overpower it. So hopefully that doesn't ever happen, but you never know.
So Tesla should make a humanoid robot because Elon Musk cares about AI's dangers, and therefore Tesla can put now the safety measures that will set the standards for the whole industry in the future. But anyhow, why should we fear these robots? In this video, we're going to see how you, how me, how humanity will merge with the Tesla bot. Hi, this is Alejandro and welcome to the best moment in history. But before we continue, if you don't want to be exterminated by a super intelligent machine, give this video a like when I say 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much. You rock.
We just don't know what's going to happen once there's intelligence substantially greater than that of a human brain. I think you just have to consider, like, even in the benign scenario where AI, if AI is much smarter than a person, what do we do?
Yeah.
What is that? What job do we have? Yeah, just like even, but that's the benign scenario. Benign scenario, the AI can do any job that a human can, but better.
Yeah.
That's the benign scenario.
So, in other words, what Elon is saying is that artificial intelligence could, best case scenario, leave us without work, and in the worst, ignore us or even kill us? However, you might be thinking now that we have had decades of sci-fi movies where all kinds of robots rule the universe. But the reality is this. Why is Elon so sure that in a short period of time AI will overtake us? To understand his fears, we have to take a look at the differences between a human brain and a silicon one, both in their hardware and their software side. In their hardware, there are 3 keys. First, speed. Human neurons have a maximum speed of 200 Hz, while current microprocessors, which are much slower than those that future artificial superintelligence will have, go up to 4.3 GHz. That is 21.5 million times faster. Second, size and storage. Human brain is anatomically enclosed in the skull and cannot grow. However, computers can have any shape and size, allowing them to have a larger working memory, RAM, and the storage memory not only bigger, but also much more precise. Third, reliability and durability. The biological nature of our brains makes them more vulnerable to the passage of time than microprocessors. In addition, computers can be easily repaired, replaced, can have infinite backups, be running 24/7, and do not get tired like our limited brain. Second part is in the software. And here, my friend, is where artificial intelligence has an even greater advantage, as they have 2 non-existent features in the biological world. First, upgradable. In a few seconds and with an update over the air, your smartphone, smart card and computer will have capabilities that they didn't own before and also improve the existing ones. Of course, we humans can also update our software, but think about it. Would it take you just a few milliseconds to learn Chinese from scratch? Second, cooperation. Currently, the computers in the more than 1.6 million Tesla vehicles are cooperating, sharing information, and this lets Tesla car learn together, which is allowing them step by step to drive autonomously. Cooperation is what has allowed Homo sapiens to dominate the world, but it doesn't do it with the speed, precision, and scale of computers. But okay, all these capabilities won't make any difference until computers reach and then surpass human intelligence. However, if this today still hasn't happened, it is then impossible to know if it will ever occur. Maybe we find a group of people that knows the answer. Between the 6th and 8th of January 2017, the world's leading artificial intelligence expert met in the Beneficial AI 2017 Congress at the Asilomar Conference grounds in California to discuss how artificial intelligence should be developed to be positive for the future of humanity. the first question was very, very, very clear. And the answer was outstandingly resounding. But before we see it, consider subscribing to this channel so you won't miss any video like this one. In the Spanish version, we're already thousands. Únete a nosotros, amigo.
Is some form of superintelligence possible, Jan? Yes, no, or it's complicated?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
No.
Obviously, Elon was joking. But why should we be worried now? Why for many AI experts we are in this exact point in the artificial intelligence improvement? To understand it, who better to explain it to us than she? Li Feifei, computer scientist at Stanford, is one of the pioneers in computer vision and was also the professor in charge of the artificial intelligence course that made Andrej Karpathy famous among the community. So, Professor Li, what is it so important about the current moment?
540 million years ago, biologists call this the Big Bang of evolution. Before 540 million years ago, the Earth is a very peaceful pot of water. But something really strange happened. Around 540 million years, suddenly, from the fossils we study, there's a huge explosion of species. It turned out one of the most convincing theory, it was the onset of the ice. So when one of the first trilobites developed an eye, once you have the eye, the first thing you can do is you can go catch food. You actually know where food is. You're not just like blind and floating in the water. Vision was one of the major driving force of the speciation or the Big Bang of evolution.
Therefore, this explosion in artificial life is the one that we're starting to see. Neural networks, to work properly, need huge amounts of data and super powerful computers, and this is the reason why Tesla is leading the autonomous vehicle realm by having billions of driven miles, an inference chip that has nearly 7 times more teraops than the state-of-the-art NVIDIA chip, and now a training computer with 4 times the performance of the second best supercomputer in the world. Then I want you to think this for a second. If in the following years there is an explosion of artificial life, why should we fight or compete with these AI robots? Maybe at some point, with the help of Neuralink, you will be able to digitalize your brain, and this, added to the already possibility of sequencing your genome, will help you create a digital you. And maybe, just maybe, at some point in the future, in the not so far future, we will look back and will be surprised like the famous article, "They're made of meat." So, what does the thinking? You're not understanding, are you? The brain does the thinking, the meat. Thinking meat? You're asking me to believe in thinking meat? Yes, thinking meat, conscious meat, loving meat, dreaming meat. The meat is the whole deal. Are you getting the picture? So now I want you to imagine for a moment that at some point in your life you have the chance to upload yourself inside Optimus, the Tesla bot. How would it be? Well, you will enter a new kind of life, one where you will have physical superpowers. The future versions of Tesla robots will allow you to have super strength, to fly, to run faster than Usain Bolt, to travel the universe without dying, and also you won't waste your precious time sleeping, eating, showering. But the cool stuff comes when you'll start using your new cognitive powers. You will be able to love, feel, connect in a different and much more powerful way. In addition to this, you'd be able to remove pain, fear, disgust, sadness, anger from your life, and you will also be capable of creating all kinds of art, acquire all the knowledge of humanity. If one day some part of yourself breaks apart, you will just repair it, or even better, move to a new, more capable and fashionable piece of hardware. But hold on a second, Alejandro. What you're telling, apart from being crazy, if at some point it's possible that I doubt it, it would mean that we won't be any more humans. Exactly. That's the point. About 13.7 billion years ago, a point infinitely dense, hot, and of a few millimeters exploded, and the Big Bang created our universe, expanding hydrogen and helium in stars, including ours, the Sun. Part of this hydrogen and helium transformed into all the elements that we know and created, among many planets, our beloved Earth. And the dead matter on our planet, at some point around 3.7 billion years ago, gave birth to the first most elemental life form. That is, you and I were microbes. Many things happened in between, and 500 million years ago, these cyanobacteria evolved until you and I became fishes. And later, you and I, amphibians, began to colonize the Earth. And do you know what did you and I become about 100 million years ago? Mice. A little while passed by, and around 1 million years ago, you and I were proto-humans trying to tame fire. Like the great Carl Sagan once wrote, the nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our apple pies were made in the interiors of collapsing stars. We are made of star stuff. Do you really think that in a few million years we will still be the two biped monkeys with smartphones in our hands that we are today? Hi, this is Alejandro, and welcome to the best moment in history. If it was possible today, would you upload yourself into the Tesla robot? And which superpower will you use the most? Lady, gentleman, little lady, little gentleman, the Tesla bot will change our species forever. If you like this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, share it with the whole universe, and since I want to make interesting videos for you, I need to know what interests you. Write your suggestions. If you have enjoyed this type of content, subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future videos. I'm working hard to make the best possible content for you, but it takes time. Consider supporting me in Patreon, the best moment in history, so I can stop living under a bridge and continue creating content for you. There's a link in the description. Thank you very much from the heart. Gracias.